يلا
يلا.
مساكم الله بالخير. حلقتنا اليوم او يعني فيديونا اليوم مختلف شويه. معنا الام 5 تورينج 2025. معنا دانييلا شميت. Daniela is the product manager of the M5. First of all, thank you very much. Thanks to BMW Middle East, BMW and BMW Kuwait for this opportunity. I always say every trip that I make, every car review that I do is a dream coming true. It wasn't beyond my wildest dream to have this kind of interview. So thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you for coming here.
Thanks a lot. If you may just let me know, you're the product manager of the new M5. So what's the role that you play in the company exactly? Because lots of people, they like cars, but they don't know how the hierarchy goes in the company.
Yeah.
So if you can explain that
Yes, for sure. So I've been now the product manager for the new M5 for 2.5 years. And my main task is actually to connect the project team with all the sales departments. So meaning like I'm taking care of all the sales topic, being it the pricing, the volume planning, the connection to the markets, but also like for the launch management. So to decide when are we communicating the car, how are we going to do that, when is the press event taking place, and then finally when is the launch of the car. So which means when are the cars at the dealerships ready for test drives, ready for delivery to the customers. And so we have to make sure that all processes are in place, that all spare parts are there in case some are needed, all the salespeople are trained, the after-sales technicians are trained on the new car. And so I'm connecting all the sales topics and bringing them into the project team.
Okay, amazing. When the company approaches you, or when whoever is in charge approaches you to be a product manager for a brand, I'm assuming the M5 is a brand by itself because it's now 40 years old.
Yes.
It started in 84.
Yes.
So when you feel this much pressure on you, or is it a pressure on you? How do you deal with something that big?
Yeah. So obviously the M5 is one of the core models of BMW M, being now with the 7th generation of the M5. Obviously we have a big heritage and we have a very big customer base, and the expectations to such a model are very high. And the challenge is actually with every generation to move on and even improve and take a step further. And so also in the past of the M5 was always making the path for new technologies. We started off with a 6-cylinder, introducing a 8-cylinder, coming to a V10 even, and then turbocharged V8 as the first time. Then we first time had the automatic gearbox in the M5. Then it was the MX drive, and now with the latest generation, we introduced the M hybrid drivetrain into the M5. And obviously this was a huge step into the future.
Okay. Very good, very good that you mentioned how you introduce new technologies and new approaches to the M5. Obviously you introduced the hybrid system to the car, and we tried the car, and by all means the car is super fast, and you don't feel the heaviness of I think 400 or 500 kilos extra, but there is a public concern about that, and everybody is talking. And usually, what I tell my friends who are watching now, they ask me that the car is so and so. I tell them we have to try the car first, and after trying the car, to be honest, we didn't feel that because we drove on some twisty road, but the majority of the trip was autobahns and straight roads. So as a racing driver, how do you approach that, and how do you manage that?
Yeah, obviously I always would be careful to judge a car on just one figure. That's what happened actually now between the start of communication and now the first test drives. But we were very confident from the very beginning that the car is super convincing and that we have put together a really nice package for the new M5. Obviously, we had some new challenges which we never faced in the past. When you're talking about the weight increase, obviously it has a big influence on where the weight is located in the car. So the advantage of the hybrid system and the battery is that we have located it perfectly between the front and the rear axle of the car at the lowest point of the car. So this means actually we lower the center of gravity by putting the battery there. So this is actually beneficial for the driving dynamics. And then obviously while we did the testing on the Nürburgring Nordschleife and a lot of miles on the development, we reinforced very well the suspension, the whole suspension system, but also put in some stiffening measures on the chassis itself, and also introduced new technologies like the integral active steering, so the rear wheel steering, that all come together in a very nice package. And what you felt yesterday while driving the car is that you don't feel the weight at all when driving on the road. And it's I think a wealthy successor of the previous M5, because we still achieved, although with more challenging conditions, driving dynamics that we think is exactly what you would expect from an M5.
Mm-hmm. Amazing. And it might be one of the last question. You said you're responsible for separate or different types of markets, right?
Yes.
I'm of course I'm taking in consideration the Middle East market. You being a German person living in Germany, how do you do that research? Is it that you work with only the BMW Middle East office, or each country by itself, or how does it happen?
Yeah, so it's that I'm actually connecting with the product management team in every country. Okay. So we have a very close contact between all the product managers around the world. And we are also following up, obviously, the feedbacks we're getting from current customers of the M5 to learn some lessons for the next generation. And obviously, we see also here there are different demands in different countries when it comes maybe to basic options of the car, but also to general requirements on the car itself. So we are in close contact there, even before we start deciding about the first topics on the new car. So that we have the right product for customers all around the world.
Okay. When are we expecting the car in the Middle East?
So we will expect, or we are having the market launch for the Middle East planned in November already. Okay. So the touring will take a bit longer because we just start production in November. So we have to add the logistics lead time to the Middle East, but otherwise you can expect and can watch out for the first M5s on the roads in November.
Can't wait. Daniela, thank you very much for the opportunity. Thank you very much for the Middle East office and for you guys.
Thank you.
It's been an amazing trip. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you. هذه باختصار كانت مقابلتنا مع دانييلا البرودكت مانجر حق الام 5 الجديد. مشكورين على المشاهدة. نشوفكم على خير في الحلقات الجاية.